got some motherfucking design on right now. Bring it down, bring it down, bring it down. I got 3 old thoughts on the wall.
Hello you guys, and welcome back to my video. I know the lighting is a little bit off. I'm probably a little too close up on you guys, but I'm literally in my room in awe of the last 7 days, right? And it's so funny because today is the 7th day, and this is the day where the Lord just clicked in my head and put to pieces all the things that happened during this week. And mind you, this week I have not been heavy in my word. I have not been, spending time with God how I wanted to, and how I usually do. I've been so caught up in day to day, and I have been feeling tremendous guilt behind it. And it's so funny how God still, when you get thrown off of your routine and the things that you set aside, like I set aside time for him and I got caught up in everything else, how he still remained in my life, how he still kept his hand over me. And so I pray, Lord, that you speak through me and that it be all of you and none of me in this moment when I share my experience with you this week, so that it may touch who it needs to touch, so that it may get to the people that it's meant for. I just had to say that real quick, y'all, because sometimes I stumble over my words, but I want to make sure if you click to watch this, that you get exactly what the Lord wants you to have. And like I say before, I always speak from experience. So this may not resonate with everybody, but it's going to resonate with the person that it is supposed to resonate with, okay? And so this week started off, I went to work. Before I could even get out of my car, I noticed water in the parking lot, and I'm like, oh my goodness, here we go, right? So I'm like, it must have been a flood at work. I guess that's what's going on. So I'm gonna go ahead and go through the other door, went to my office, and sure enough, my office was flooded. At the time, I thought nothing of it. I'm just like, okay, this has happened once before. My office is below some of our residents' apartments, and sometimes, accidents, things happen, and our office got flooded because of it. So I was uprooted and moved out of my comfort zone into a different office where it wasn't secluded, it wasn't closed, it was very open. But when I got there, I didn't feel like, oh my gosh, this happened to me. Hold on one second, y'all. Okay, so let's get back to it. I had to answer a phone call, but so I get in the office and I'm like moving my things over, and of course I felt very comfortable. I actually felt like, oh, this is actually nice to be in the office where everybody else is, because usually we're so disconnected and away from everybody. But it was a chance to get to know people, seeing them on a day-to-day basis, being able to say good morning first thing when you see people. It was nice, right? And so a day later, I was in the car, I was driving to work, and I just felt so strongly in my spirit, like when you set certain goals for yourself, when there are things that you want to accomplish, how truly important it is to change your environment, because environment is everything. And then I start to think about the analogy that people usually use with fish when you have certain tanks, and we're like, oh, if you don't get a bigger tank, that the fish isn't going to grow, they're going to stay small. I know some of you may have heard that analogy before, but it's actually a myth. What it usually really refers to is the environment that creates stress around that animal or whatever it is that stunts their growth. So it's like a stunted growth thing where you're secluded in this environment, and it creates stress, and it creates limited resources, whatever it is, because you're stuck in this small environment. And then when you actually step outside of that environment and you put yourself in a bigger environment, let's just say a bigger tank, then it gives you the space to grow and to thrive. You're all of a sudden met with different resources. And so I was like, it's so important to put yourself in different environments, right? And that is just what I felt like. I was just feeling like if I want to reach my fitness goals, then maybe I need to attend a few free fitness classes so that I can put myself out there and get to know people and stuff like that. That's what I'm thinking. And so I don't know if you know before that I am a commissioned notary, and this is something that I wanted to tap into for a long time, but I've just put other things as a priority over, my notary certificate. And so I wanted to use that as a side hustle this year. All of a sudden on my timeline, I noticed that someone was doing a notary meetup for Los Angeles. I'm like, cool, I'm finna apply to it. They're going to be teaching you, giving you information. It'll be a perfect place for me to network and get into it. So I'm like, cool, I'm signing up. Boom. No more spaces. I'm so sorry. That was the email that I got back. And I'm like, okay, it's fine. Let me know if anything opens up or if you'll have another networking event. I'd love to attend, blah, blah, blah. Sent the email. Next thing you know, I get an email a couple of days later like, hey, we just opened up more spaces. If you're interested, go ahead and pay your registration fee, which was $7. And if you don't know the significance of 7, the number 7, go look that up. But as we proceed, I was like, cool, very affordable. I could pay $7 and I could meet people, I could network, and I could learn. Invest in yourself. Do it. So I registered, that was done. And then I went to the events, right? So it's the day of the event. I go to the event. I'm sitting there. I get to know some people that sat at the same table that I was at. I got to speak to them, and I quickly noticed how introverted I was in that moment, which was so odd. I'm like, but this is an event where I can get to know people, and all of a sudden I became shy. But I love the fact that I put myself out there and I was able to get 2 contacts. I was able to meet different people and I was able to learn. So it put me in a space where I'm seeing people, ask certain questions. I'm seeing people, do different things within the training, and it just sparked my interest. Like, man, I really want to be on their level. You know what I mean? I really want to be on their level with my skill. And so it motivated me to educate myself. And I'm like, okay, cool. There's another event coming up, and I am going to be ready when I go to that event. I'm going to dedicate time. So it just sparked that initiative in me to just want to strive to educate myself and sharpen my skill. Notary event's over. I'm walking around, I exchange my number with a few people. I go to my car, I put my bag in my car, and I was going back in the building to speak to someone specifically, but that certain person was still in the same conversation. So I'm like, okay, let me just go to the restroom and head out. I go to the restroom, leave the restroom, and before I walk out the door, y'all, I noticed, I'm like, chapel? I'm like, chapel? What is a chapel? Oh, shoot, I'm in a church. So the notary event that happened, the notary event, networking event that happened was actually on top of a church, okay? I grabbed a card from the table before I walked out. This young lady was helping me get outside the door. She was like, I can open it for you. She helped me get out the door, but I grabbed the card, and as I'm walking to my car, I'm reading the name of the church, and the name of the church was Dream City Church, right? And right under the title of their name, it says, belong, grow, and make a difference. It was like the Lord was sending me confirmation. Like, yeah, I know you have faith that I'm going to do this for you. But not only do you have faith that I'm going to do these things for you, but you're taking action. You're taking action, and I'm going to meet you where you are. Since you're putting your left and your right foot in front of you and you're taking action, I'm going to meet you where you are. And I felt so much confirmation in that moment. Like, what are the odds that I'm on this journey? I'm making sure that I'm including the Lord in everything that I do. And I, at the last minute before I leave, realized that I'm on top of a church. I don't know why I thought it was some bar or something, but it was a church. And the name of the church was Dream City Church. And it didn't dawn on me, because at that point I was just like, oh, it's a church. Oh, that's so cool. Like, and the Lord had been speaking to me that week, like, you need to get in a church. You need to find a family church that you go to. You need to do this. You need to do that, because community is key. Although you want to separate yourself, although you want to pull yourself aside so that you can study and do this and do that, you also need to be a part of a community, because within that community, you are going to find motivation. You're going to find resources. You're going to get affirmations. You are going to get confirmations. You are going to get all that when you find a community of people who have the same common goal that you have. It's going to open up your space and create a larger environment for you to grow, right? And so that was just so much confirmation to me. So I'm sitting here. Hold on one second, y'all. Okay. So I'm sitting here, and here is Sunday. We on day 7, and I'm driving home, and I'm like, I don't know what made me want to take out the card that I got from the church, but I just digged in my purse, and I'm driving home because I left early today, and I'm looking at it, and at this time is when I noticed under the name of the church it says belong, grow, and make a difference. And it just hit me differently. All of a sudden I started playing back everything that was happening this week, and how everything strategically lined up to bring me in this place right now where I am in realization that God has been with me this whole week. The whole time when I was caught up in my head, feeling guilty about not spending time with him, feeling guilty about not opening up my Bibles, feeling guilty about waking up late and not having time to spend with him in the morning. This whole time he was playing the cards. He was laying out the road. He was moving, and I didn't even notice because I was so wrapped up in my head and feeling guilty, what the enemy will do to distract you. But in that moment on the way home, the Lord revealed to me, like, I have been here this whole time. I don't know why you're doing this to yourself, why you are, putting this doubt and this fear and this guilt over yourself. When I walked in the house, I instantly said a prayer because I have been feeling certain things. So I'm speaking against certain things and just asking the God for forgiveness for not spending time with him and this, that, and the other. And then I started getting revelation of everything that was happening around me this week. And I started to feel so grateful and thankful that no matter what, the Lord that we serve is so merciful and loves us so much that even when we feel out of the loop, he still makes sure that he's doing what he needs to do. Although we may get thrown off track, he is never thrown off track. He never goes and deviates from the plan. His plan is his plan, and he is going to follow through every time, regardless of how you're feeling. And so I'm just thinking of everything, right? And I'm like, this all started off with a flood in my office. And if you know the story of Noah, then you know that one of the symbolizations of a flood is to wash away and to renew and to rebuild. And if you have seen any other of my videos, this whole time I've just been like building a foundation, renew, rebuild. How is it a coincidence that I am on top of the church at this networking event? And that realization that the Lord is my foundation, that I'm sitting on top of the church. I'm sitting on my foundation while I'm moving and taking action on some goals that I want to. It was like confirmation. I'm like, I don't know if I should do this or not. It was like confirmation that the Lord is like, I'm your foundation, right? I'm on top of a church. And I'm like, ChatGPT, this is everything that I've been dealing with this morning. Like, help me connect the dots. And connecting the dots started to become so easy. Here's a little bit of advice. Download ChatGPT on your phone. And when you're ever confused about anything, always take it back to the Lord for confirmation. But ChatGPT be helping me put 1 and 2 together when I'm confused about stuff. And the fact that I went to this event and the foundation of the church was right underneath me and I didn't even know it. Everything that was happening in this week, the Lord was right there as my foundation and working, and I wasn't even realizing it. Understand that part. So I don't know who this word is for. But the Lord, even though you may be feeling a certain way right now, even though you may be distracted in what you're doing right now, even though you may be speaking words against yourself, feeling guilty about things, feeling like whatever it is, and this could just be you moving in your everyday and you feeling bad because you haven't spent time with the Lord today, or whatever it is, just know that God never deviates from his plan. And what he said is, it is what it is. Okay, regardless of how you feel, what he said, he is going to do. He never lies. And I had to tell the Lord, like, I had to have that realization, like, I know you don't lie. I know you don't lie. I know you always follow through on the things that you said you were going to follow through with. You always do what you said you were going to do. And Lord, as my Father, I know I did not inherit from you or your kingdom the feeling of doubt, the feeling of guilt. So these are not of you, Father. I had to realize that, like, I know this is not from my Father, so this has to be from the enemy. And the simple fact that I was stuck and feeling that every day that I woke up late this week and was not able to have as much time as I wanted with the Lord still was moving, still being strategic. These little things that were happening, I didn't see the symbolization in it until today, the 7th day from the day that I was experiencing all of this the first time around. The 7th day, the day of completion. Okay, let's call it what it is. The 7th day, it clicked. So yes, is it important to put yourself in different environments where you can continue to grow, where people are doing the same thing? If you go to the gym, that means that everybody should be there. You know, everybody have alternative reasons why they're there, but their goal should be to improve in their health, right? And if that's something that you want to be, then you need to immerse yourself in those environments where people are reaching a common goal of yours, so that you spark that interest again, so that you get that motivation. If you have a business idea, or if you have a different ideas, look for different meetups, look for people who are doing these things, and immerse yourself in those type of environments. And most of all, us people that be feeling some type of way about the church, like, come on. I don't go to church. I will be completely honest with you. And there were some things that I heard growing up in the church. There were people who would say different things, and I would see how people would live outside of the church and how they would go to church and be different. And my personality is so analytical that sometimes I look at things like, okay, well, what's the point? Because if you're going to be doing all this and then go to church on Sunday and act like none of that ever happened, like, why I need to be in here and hearing different things. Like, we all have our reasons for us that have this thing against church. But the Lord told me it's important to be in a community, because these people are meant to help you grow in me. And I had to realize that too. I said, okay, if I'm growing in faith, if I want to grow in this area, then I do need to surround myself with like-minded people. So that might mean going to Bible study, going to church, getting involved in a community. So community is key. Environment is key to your growth, stepping out and moving. But the most important thing I want you to take away from this is that when you don't think the Lord is moving in your life, he's moving. And sometimes we're very distracted by what's going on in our lives. I was doing so much this week and dealing with so much that I was missing the key components of flood in my office, right? What could that mean? What could that mean? A flood in my office, me having to be put in an uncomfortable position, but then getting to the new location and being like, oh, actually, this is not good at all. I mean, this is this is not bad at all. I actually like being over here. Right? Putting myself in a place like the Lord opened the door when the door was closed. Come on. The door was closed. They were not accepting anybody else to this event. And then the door was open. The Lord opening doors that are closed just for you. I get there and it's on top of a church. My foundation has been God. And I'm trying to reach my goals. What has my whole entire series been about, y'all? I'm trying to reach my goals, but not without God. I won't do it without God. If God ain't in it, okay, I don't want nothing to do with it. Okay, because it could be here and gone, but I know when the Lord is your foundation and you do it with God, that thing is stable. It ain't moving. So I ain't doing nothing with God. And I'm out here trying to reach my dreams of owning my own business. And I end up on top of a church called Dream City Church. Come on, Dream City Church, not even knowing that I'm sitting on the Lord's house. I'm sitting on my foundation. Because you couldn't go in the building. You had to walk up the stairs on the side of the building and go in the room. So the whole time I'm sitting here doing this whole thing, the Lord is my foundation on the top of a church called Dream City Church. Thank you, Lord. Because if I have ever asked for a confirmation, I mean, if that ain't the biggest confirmation, I don't know what is. So this week, I told myself, you're moving in the right direction. And don't let the enemy trick you and make you feel like the Lord is not with you. Because he's always with you. Even when you think you don't deserve it and you think he's not there, he is with you. And although it may seem like things are happening and God has nothing to do with it, the Lord has something to do with everything. Even the things you feel like are negative and are horrible, the Lord will turn it around and work it out for your greater good. So it's up to you. It's up to you to snap out of it and wake up. Because this is a season where things are happening rapidly. And I'm going to cut this off because I know I've been rambling and going on. But this is a season where things are happening rapidly. Understand that. Where the Lord is renewing and rebuilding. And if you get caught up in politics and this and what's going on over here and this over here and that over there and you're going to miss it. Like I missed it. But today, he confirmed to me, like, hello, just tap. I've been working over here and I see you was working too. But I need you to stop for a minute. I need you to come back to me. Because if he can show me all of that when I was moving around and doing this, there's no telling what he will reveal to me when I am in his word and his presence every day. And how much louder it would be. So I'm going to leave it here. And I hope you took away what you needed to take away from this. I hope you got what you needed to get from this. I don't know if I spoke in a sequence of things that happened, but I honestly want to say that I hope this touched you guys. I hope it resonated with the people it was supposed to resonate with. I love you guys. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.